It's tea time. Now this video is going to be something a little bit different because it's another day in the book community, another day where an author behaves badly. Now I did one of these videos a few months ago, and it's not that the only author drama or book talk drama happened months ago, it's happening every day. But today, I was there from the beginning, and I got screenshots before they were deleted. Let's get into another author behaving badly. So, like with any authors behaving badly, it is because they insert themselves into the reviewer space. And what that means is that when we post a review of a book on Goodreads, it does not personally attack the author, it is merely an observation, an opinion of a book. I don't like some of the Stephen King books. Does that mean I hate him? Does that mean I wish ill upon his family? No, it means I don't like that book. And it's the same with any book review. Some you love, and I've put through many 5-star reviews, and there have been some that I have hated, and I have not held back in my hatred, as you can probably know if you've watched some of my videos. We're going to get into this one, because this one started badly, went full-blown crash out through the day, and then sort of petered off when somebody finally took her phone away from her. Hopefully. It could continue through the night. So this all centres around this book, Obsession He Craves by Noya Cecil. I apologise if I pronounce that incorrectly. I don't do it on purpose. I just don't know how to pronounce it. But this is book 3 in the Destiny of Devils series. The first book came out in March of this year, and this is book 3, which came out at the end of June, and book 4 came out today, on the day of the crash out. So was it all orchestrated? But anyway, this book, like many books, went out to ARC reviewers. Now, I have been an ARC reviewer for the past 2 years, and the only covenant of being an ARC reviewer is that you leave honest feedback, either before the release date or on the release date. It helps to create hype around the book, and your review is not for the author, it is for the reader. This is the book. We're going to go for what this particular review was, because it was a 1-star review, and it was at the time the first 1-star review this series has got. So I don't know whether reviews have been taken down before this, but this, to my knowledge, was the very first one. So we're going to go and read the review. Keep in mind, this is the review that kicked off a full-blown crash out. She gave it a 1-star and 2 spices, 2 chilies, however that goes. Firstly, I'd like to thank the author for a review copy of this book. This is going to be harsh criticism of the book alone. I in no way, shape or form am sending any hate towards the author. She's an absolutely lovely human being, and I'm so grateful to have been given this review copy. It's really nice so far. You know it's going to be harsh, because she said so right at the beginning. I was really excited going into this book. The plot, the tropes, everything was right up my alley. I really did want to love it, I did. But the writing wasn't done very well. I understand a few grammatical mistakes here and there. We're all human after all. But I'm talking consistent, run-on and weirdly worded sentences. It honestly felt more like I was reading a Wattpad story than anything. That is constructive criticism. I'm not seeing anything bad there so far. and I have compared books to Wattpad stories. The plot felt rushed, the relationship felt ingenuine, and when it got too fluffy about halfway through, I knew the third act breakup was coming. This is a personal preference, I'm aware, but I simply cannot stand a third act breakup in the big 2025. The emotions and feelings throughout the book lacked depth. The characters constantly told us how they felt, but didn't necessarily show what results from those feelings. It's still constructive. Character-wise, I couldn't sympathise with Abigail whatsoever. In the beginning, I did admire her for her dreams and ambitions of getting her MBA at Stanford. But about halfway through, after she solidifies her relationship with Alexander, she completely gives up on it because she, quote, can't stand to be away from him. I think it's ridiculous to give up personal goals and ambitions just for a man, whether you love him or not. Alexander, on the other hand, was bland. I couldn't tell if he was supposed to give broody mafia boss, but all I got was asshole. The way he called her his slave, just no. I really did want to love this, but unfortunately I didn't. Needless to say, I once again thank the author for letting me read her book. That was the 1-star review that caused a complete crash out. And as somebody who leaves 1-star reviews all the time, that was exceptionally nice. Now, if you think that 1-star review was awful and it should never have been written and it should never have been put together, and it was a terrible, terrible review, and the reviewer was so mean, this was my 1-star review of Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. I'm going to let you pause to read that thing. That's a mean review from me. That first one, For Obsession He Craves, was a nice 1-star review full of constructive criticism. Now, this review is still up on Goodreads. You can go see it if you want to. Now, usually with ARC reads, you get what the author expects from you. This author is no different, and this was on her Instagram page, and as far as I know, it still is, which is this. ARC policy: please read before requesting. I write dark, intense, and mature romance. My stories include obsession, morally grey characters, violence, trauma, and emotional depth, mafia power dynamics, explicit 18+ content. My books are strictly for 18+ readers only. If you are under 18, please do not request my ARCs or interact with my dark content. I will withdraw access and block without notice if I find out you're underage. By accepting my ARC, you confirm that you are 18 or older, you're comfortable reading dark romance, you'll be respectful and honest in your review. Thank you for respecting these boundaries. Much love. There is nothing wrong with that. That is a standard ARC policy thing that an author will put up when you are requesting an ARC, especially when it's dark romance or something traumatic or it's horror. You're going to have the content warnings in there so you know whether to read it or not, because when putting ARCs out, you generally want good feedback back. So up to now, there's nothing wrong. A reviewer put a 1-star review full of constructive criticism, and the author had the ARC policy, which the reviewer did not break anything. This reviewer reads dark romance. She likes to read these types of books. And like she said in her review, it should have been something that would be right up her alley. It wouldn't be right up mine, and that's why I wouldn't read it. But it should have been right up her alley. It's the type of stuff she likes to read. And according to the ARC policy, there's no boundaries been stepped over. But here we go. Tea time. Because this crash out went over at least 3 different social media websites. First, it went on Goodreads. I caught it on Threads and then went to look at Goodreads, and it was of her Instagram as well. So because we started with the review, we're going to start with the Goodreads comments. Because when somebody posts a review of a book, you can comment down below. Now, one thing this reviewer did not do, she did not commit the cardinal sin of tagging the author in the review. At no point did she tag the author in the review. So you can comment under different reviews. People have liked some of mine that I've put up. I've commented on other people's. Anybody can comment on these reviews at all. And that's where we get into the problem. And this is where the screenshots do start, because these are still up on Goodreads. She hasn't taken them down. And they haven't been removed. So, the reviews there. The author of the book commented on this 1-star review. And she said, laughing emojis, "You're so sweet. If I had the money, I'd sponsor your basic English classes. But honestly, I'd rather put it towards a crash course on the inherent characteristics and responsibilities of men and women, because watching you speak so confidently while understanding neither is painful." And so it begins. That in itself kicked off this whole thing. There wouldn't have been anything to kick off about if the author had not responded. And then people started seeing it. And people in the bookish space do not take kindly to authors bashing reviewers, especially ARC reviewers, who have taken time out of their day to read your book and give you a review. Message 2 is somebody quoted what she'd said and said, "This is beyond weird and embarrassing for you. You need a crash course on manners, because watching you attack a reader in a reader's space is painful. If you can't understand Shan, that is a skill issue. Shan is the reviewer. And yeah, the author deserves to be called out for it." And then she responds, "I'm beyond surprised to find someone coming to the rescue so soon." Why? This stuff happens in the bookish community all the time, and the result is always the same. I just hope readers and reviewers also learn a bit about etiquette and start fact-checking themselves before forking out a review on a platform that directly impacts an author's finances and reputation. I think she's being able to tank her own reputation pretty well all on her own. It is absolutely within your responsibility and obligation to give an opinion based on facts. I dare you to find any grammatical mistakes in my book, and if they exceed the norm, I'll apologise to both of you. But if they don't, how about you admit you rushed into arguments without checking the facts and apologise to me? Do you have the guts? Why should a creator not take a stand for what they've built and just stay silent in the face of malicious, ignorant slander? I have my own dignity. The reviewer said that there were some grammatical errors. Yes, you are going to find grammatical errors in ARCs. You are. You just are. No ARC is going to be 100% perfect, because the main ARCs that are read are by indie authors. They don't have the money to go pay a load of editors to spruce it up a bit. And I'm glad she is so damn condescending to say that a reviewer can post their opinion on her book. That's kind of the point of reading the book and being an ARC reviewer. But she's so aggressive and condescending. And where in that 1-star review was she being malicious? She just said that the characters were a bit dull, and the one character and the female character giving up on her dreams that she's had throughout the book for a guy, she wasn't so keen on it. It's valid. There is nothing wrong that has been said so far in that review, and to have that... So underneath that, somebody posted the link to Goodreads author guidelines, because some people don't know that Goodreads, to be an author on Goodreads, you have to accept Goodreads author guidelines. And we're going to go to them right now. So somebody tagged the link to the author guidelines, which are here. Goodreads is a community for book lovers, and we welcome both readers and authors. There are many ways Goodreads authors can participate to support our community and spread word about their books. Our author guidelines are designed to help you have the best possible experience on Goodreads. If you have any questions about Goodreads, you're always welcome to send us an email. It's important to keep in mind that the Goodreads author program is intended to be used in a professional capacity. The community perceives you as a public figure, and we expect you to act professionally. Here are some ways to use Goodreads as an author, and there is a big long list, but the bit we want is further down. Here are some activities that break our rules and may result in your account coming under review. Top 1. Don't engage with people who negatively rate or review your books. We cannot stress this enough. Goodreads is a community for all readers to express their honest opinions about books they choose to read and shelve. Engaging with people who don't like your book will not win you any new readers. Remember that Goodreads is a public space. Other readers will see a reaction from the author and interpret it as hostile, regardless of how carefully the response was crafted. Her responses were not crafted carefully at all, and to say that they are borderline hostile is being nice. So the author was sent this link in that comments hours ago. I mean, right early this morning. So someone put, nicely detailed review. The author's response is of course completely out of order, and I am frankly astonished the comments are still up. As am I astonished over 12 hours later that these are still up. Just a word to the author of this book, you are clearly going against Goodreads policy. As an author, a very important rule is not to engage with people who negatively review your books. I reported your comments and hope everyone else does this as well. You're definitely an author that deserves to lose all their readers. Disgusting behaviour simply because someone doesn't like your book. Did you really expect everyone to give you 5 stars? Shake my head. I think you should remove the bit about the author being lovely because she's so clearly not. This is a reviewer space. Reviews are for readers. I would never give this author a try solely based on her response, not due to your objective and critical review. Me neither. I appreciate your review and the author's nasty comments here. There's no way I'd read a book from an author who behaves like this. Your inappropriate responses are being shared on various other social media platforms, because by this time it was all over Threads. Screenshots are forever. So being added to readers' do not read lists, this is just bad business on your part. The author cannot take constructive criticism, and it shows. Their insecurities and low self-esteem are screaming embarrassingly loud. You asked for someone's opinion, and they were sweet, despite your god-awful writing skills. I don't know whether this particular commenter has actually read any of her books, so I don't know whether the writing was god-awful. You shouldn't have asked at all if you don't even have a backbone or a clue of what you're asking for. You had the choice to respond in a mature, respectful manner, and you chose to be juvenile and rude, embarrassing. She should not have responded at all. This behaviour is from a rotting corpse of a personality. A blind man could see it. It's clear no one wants to support an author with foul behaviour as yours, or the pitiful piece of work you wrote. You should be ashamed of yourself and reflect hard on being more positive and respectful, especially when someone's trying to give you positive, constructive feedback on a book of this calibre. And the author does not know the meaning of the phrase forking out. And to be honest, I don't either. Forking out means paying for something. Even the best and most beloved authors receive criticism. That is true. All authors receive criticism. Every single author in existence and past has received criticism for their book. This is the unavoidable reality of being an artist/human. Going back and sending hate to a reviewer when they worded their review kindly and simply articulated their opinion is incredibly tacky and shows how fragile your sense of worth is. It's honestly a little sad. You cannot expect everyone to adore your work regardless of if it is good or bad. If you believe your art is that good, it should speak for itself. We all make mistakes as people. Please do some self-reflection. Best response to this review, nothing at all. Agreed, the author should never have commented on this. Second best response to this review, Thanks for your feedback. I'm sorry to hear you didn't enjoy the story. I'm still working on my craft and I hope you'll give some of my other works a go. That is a perfectly valid response for the author to do if she wanted to respond at all, because of course we don't get that. Because she responds again. I see plenty of barking about how an author should take constructive criticism, yet none of you seem willing to accept my very simple challenge. Read the book and find the grammar issues you claim exist. Why is she stuck on the grammar issues and not the fact that this reader said it was all right, it's just the characters were dull? It was the characters she had, and characters in the plot, that she's had the most problem with. She's honing in on the grammar issues because she cannot answer as to the other stuff. Until then, it's clear you're not echoing opinions, you're deliberately defaming me to defend a reviewer you like. I don't know the reviewer. I didn't even know this reviewer existed before all this blew up. How about we just don't like your bad behaviour? How about you are being hostile and you deserve to be pulled up on it? And as to defaming, what exactly has been said that has defamed you? And she said nothing that isn't true. The book, she gave an honest opinion on the book, not the author. The author is giving her bad opinions about herself to everybody on the internet. And she wonders why people agree. How else can you speak so much about me and my work without reading a single page on knowing me personally? The reviewer read the book, and the whole commenting on a bad review speaks for itself. And I'm truly sorry you've built such vivid fantasies where I suddenly break down and say, oh, I'm so sorry, I don't know how to write. This reviewer is absolutely right, and I'm a terrible author who must now learn how to write properly. If that's what you're here for, you'll be disappointed. Who asked for that? Also amusing are the Goodreads policy preachers who, while quoting rules, still feel comfortable saying you deserve to lose all your readers. And then there are the extra sweet policy warriors handing out 1-star ratings without reading a single word. You've made your intentions clear, it's not about critique, it's about malice. Interesting. I'll treat it accordingly. Now, by this time, people had started seeing it because it was posted on Threads. People go to Goodreads, find it, see it. And they start doing something that the book community I don't agree with. They start review bombing books. For those who don't know, review bombing is going to a book and just rating it 1 star. You're not read it, you have no intention to read it, and you're doing it just because of the author's bad behaviour, which goes against Goodreads reviewer guidelines. Because yes, we have guidelines as well as reviewers. And that's like no racism. You don't go away for the author. You don't go after the author for their personality, the way they look. Reviews are about the books for the readers. And Goodreads guidelines are very strict about that. So that bit I don't agree with. Nobody should go review bombing books. But then authors should not go into reviewer spaces and be, let's see, what was the quote? Malicious. And we go on. Seeing a reviewer getting attacked by the author for her own opinion about the book is actually crazy. Also, barking is wild. Wow. RIP to your book, because honestly, the reader community is not going to tolerate such behaviour towards honest reviewers. Spoiler alert, we don't. Respecting this profession also requires accepting that some readers will not be happy with your book no matter how perfect you think it is. I hope you can self-reflect on this, but with the way you are wording your sentences, I think it's useless to even talk to you. And no, I'm not accepting your challenge of reading the book and finding or not finding the grammatical errors, because even if the reviewer was wrong about it, they weren't rude, unlike you. And then further down, the author comes back again. Honestly, someone should take her phone away from her at this point, because this is dripping in sarcasm. My bad. Can I redo my mistake? I'm so grateful the sweet reviewer took so much time to read a book that was, in her words, Wattpadish, and even managed to find language mistakes that don't actually exist. You say they don't exist, and yet you challenge people to find them, so you can't 100% sure that say for sure that there isn't any in there. And of course, thank you to all these super sweet people in the comments, generously donating their free time to stand behind such a constructive review. The way you all unite to uplift the community is truly inspiring. Goodreads should give you a group award. I deeply regret ever making light of this pure, selfless feedback. Clearly, the real crime here wasn't the spam 1-star ratings or the personal digs. What personal digs? They're calling you out for your behaviour. That's not a personal dig. That's calling you out for your bad behaviour. It was me, a bad author, now not recognising the nobility of this mission sooner. Please keep guiding other authors with this same compassion. The world needs more of your kindness. Honestly, just go have a cup of tea. Just put the phone down, go away from social media, and have a nap. Because really, this is giving crotchety toddler. And then yours truly chimes in, because how could I not? Really, at this point, just drop the sarcasm. Why you, the author, going after a reviewer for giving her honest opinion of your book? If you can't take criticism, don't read your 1-star reviews. Not everyone is going to like your book. Honestly, I could have wrote more there, but I don't want to go against Goodreads' guidelines. They're there for a reason. Now, this bit rubbed me the wrong way because I'm going to flash up on screen the review again for a reason. So take your time to, have a little bit of read, a reminder of what that says. Because according to that, I've been going for 40 minutes now. Because this is what the author then put. Firstly, I'd like to thank the reviewer for taking the time to share her thoughts on my book. This is going to be a harsh criticism of the review alone. I, in no way, shape or form, am sending any hate towards the reviewer. Bullshit! She is an absolutely lovely human being, and I'm so grateful she took the time to read and review my work. Plagiarism's a thing. I was really excited reading through her review. The structure, the passion, everything was right up my alley. I don't think it was. I truly did want to appreciate it. I did. You didn't. But the content wasn't done very well. I understand a little snark here and there. We're all human after all. But I'm talking consistent condescension and oddly worded jabs. Really, I think the only person being condescending is you. It honestly felt more like I was reading a personal rant than anything resembling constructive criticism. I really did want to love this, but unfortunately I didn't. Needless to say, I once again thank the reviewer for investing her time in my book and wish her all the best in her future reviews. How about this one, guys? Now you can't say I'm being disrespectful. I think we can. See, I learned, all thanks to you amazing people. That is a load of bullshit. And if you didn't catch it from the way that I was talking or the review that I put up, she got hooked, copied the review, and then altered some words and chucked it up to be snarky. It says a lot more about you than it does anybody else. Commenting or reviewing your books, this says more about your character, of how you can take criticism. Honestly, take it to the group chat. That's what the rest of us do. And the comments keep going. I'm just going to put them up because I will be here all night just reading comments, and there is more to get to. Yeah. Now, one of the comments said that this author is behaving like a movie supervillain. And I'm going to come back to that. There's something later on that we'll get to. But that's everything that's on Goodreads. And as of right now, Friday night, it's still up for people to read. But now we're going to go onto the other social platforms, because in the middle of all this, when that review first went up, the author put something on her Instagram stories. And today, I went on her Instagram stories and screenshotted it, because you can. Because I knew at that point I was going to be doing this video. So the author put up this. I'm quitting. And then this. Devotion of a Devil is out now today. And that's a book. Is all this just to generate hype about your new book? Because if it is, this is not the way to go about it. Because you're not gonna get anybody to read your new book. They're just gonna review bomb it. I hope this piece of my soul finds its people, but I won't be here to witness the love or the hate. I love writing, creating worlds, and giving them to those who might cherish them will always be a part of me, but I hate this business. I'm not strong enough to watch someone spit on my heart. Then don't put it on the internet. This all started when someone claimed, quote, "The writing wasn't done very well. I understand a few grammatical mistakes here and there. We're all human after all. But I'm taking consistent run-on and weirdly worded sentences. It honestly felt more like I was reading a Wattpad story than anything." That was the part of the review. I cried over it quietly. Here's the weird bit. I cried over it quietly, but my husband couldn't stand seeing me hurt. He commented from my account, and now I'm facing a flood of 1-star ratings from people who haven't even read my book, along with cruel comments from strangers. Like you're an angel yourself. I've already been stretched thin from constant outreach, silent rejections, and the exhausting hustle of this industry. This was my limit. I can't do it anymore. There will probably be more noise on Goodreads. My husband is furious of the situation, but I'm stepping away. Once this storm passes, I'll try to delete my Goodreads profile too. I doubt it. I've met some truly wonderful people here over the past few weeks, and I'll treasure that. But I'm too emotional, too weak to keep standing in the middle of so much toxicity. I will never stop writing, but from now on it will be in my safe place, next to the man who has been protecting me from the harshness of this world for the past 5 years. I'm trying to think how to word this without being such a bitch. I'm glad she has somebody by her side. However, this went up, and in this she says that first comment on the bad review was not her, but her husband on her account. So he was the one being malicious and doing everything you knew because you were crying. Now I don't know whether she's married. I don't know that whole dynamic, and I'm not going to look because that's personal. She talks about her husband like you would expect someone to write about their mafia boyfriend, which incidentally is what she writes about. It feels too, I can't think of how to properly describe it. It feels too anime villain kind of, that you, weak woman, and your husband has gone crazy on the internet, causing a crash out that now you have to deal with. It doesn't sit right with me to be sincere. That whole thing, it just doesn't. Now here we get to threads, because this reviewer at this point just has this author gunning for her, and she screenshots it and puts it on threads like anybody would do. I'd do it. Wrote a very honest, constructive criticism 1-star review for a book, only to get this comment from the author herself. Help me. Now, only the day before, she put that she was new to Bookstagram, and some of her favourite genres are dark romance. This was a book for her. It is not a book for me, but it was a book for her. I'll reiterate, it was a book for her, and she didn't like it, and she said so. There is nothing wrong with that. Here we go. Because this crash out was biblical. If you thought the one on Goodreads was bad, but remember, the one on Goodreads was her husband. Is he doing threads as well? Because the reviewer put, I originally felt awful about this whole drama until she had the nerve to post this. It is within my right in the book community to say that I didn't enjoy a book. I was kind and respectful in my original review. Now, this is the author on Threads. I don't know who she was replying to for this because I can't find it. But this was her reply to somebody. First of all, this post isn't for you. It's for my actual readers. Second, no one is doubling down. I never said my husband was wrong. Well, then that's your mistake. I stand by every word he wrote. Really? Might as well just blame it on the dog at this point. My business is writing. I'm an author. You haven't read my book, yet you're here waving a support stick for someone who's keeping her head down because she probably knows she messed up and is using you to get back at me. She's probably keeping her head down because you are vile. Then you have the nerve to talk about other people's business. Well, if you're going to put it on the internet, people are going to talk about it. If you think that's constructive criticism, my husband and I should pay for your English lessons as well, because you clearly don't know the definition. And until you learn the difference, you're not qualified to lecture anyone, least of all me. I want some of what this one's been taking, because her ego is astronomical. I could do with the self-aggrandizing self-confidence that this woman has, because, oh my god, it's off the charts. Now, remember the Instagram story with the pretty flower saying that I'm quitting? Well, she screenshot it herself and redid it and put this up. Turns out I'm not going anywhere. It's the trash that needs to take itself out. Off you go then. And she put because by now the book was getting review bombed, which I don't agree with. I've said I don't agree with it and I don't agree with it. But I don't know how to thank these amazing people who took the time to give me all these wonderful spam 1-star ratings, 8 and counting. And yeah, it's up. It's getting up there. Which don't do it. Don't give her the ammunition. She's got all this ammunition from her own hot air to, keep running with this for weeks. One of them is so dedicated they even took the initiative to bless all my books with that precious 1-star, which I don't agree with. Truly delighted to know that such pure souls exist. And don't worry, this is well within Goodreads policies. It's not. None of this is within Goodreads policies. Author commenting on a bad review and slating the reviewer and books getting review bombed is not on Goodreads policies. And honestly, I don't know why they just haven't taken the whole thing down yet. Because plenty of people, including myself, have reported this. Reported the review bombing and reported the author for being a bitch and going after her reviewers, which you're not supposed to do. If you can't take the heat, get out of the fucking kitchen. Now, I screenshot this at lunchtime, and I didn't know then, but I do know now, that the post hasn't been deleted, but the comments have. Because I screenshot the comments on the post, and now when I go on the post, it's not there anymore. So this is a post on her Instagram. I really hate women who don't understand femininity and men who forgot how to be masculine. Read caption. Women will never win at a man's game, just like men will never win at a woman's. Not because of society, not because of patriarchy, but because that's how we evolved. This is not a synopsis for her book, by the way. Men were designed over thousands of years to fight the outer wars, to conquer, protect, hunt, lead. Women evolved to win the inner wars, to nurture, preserve, heal, build legacies from within. Evolution isn't stupid. It's separated men and women for a reason. You distort their roles, you destroy the entire human structure. Society is collapsing not because men or women are weak, but because women are trying to be men, and men are no longer being men. If you want civilization to survive, let a man be masculine, let a woman be feminine. Jesus Christ. The amount of eye rolling I did when I first read that is just, it probably set off the Richter scale. I'm an author, but before that I was, am, and always will be a proud student of philosophy and human behaviour. Yet you don't know how to call out your own, or your husband's. Allegedly. And nothing disgusts that part of me more than seeing people with such a shallow, confused mentality. It's the very mindset that's dragging human civilization to its knees. Part of that mindset that drags civilization to its knees is intolerance. But like I said, there were comments on this, which I screenshot, and then I went to have a look after tea to get a better screenshot on my PC, and all the comments had disappeared. So we're going to go with the ones on the phone. Because you can see that it's from this post because of that grey background colour. And to be clear, the problem people got involved is not only because you/whoever invaded a reviewer space, although this was a starting issue, which it was the thing that kicked this whole thing off. If her or her husband had just stayed away from it and left it alone, none of this would be happening. It was the contents of the responses, plural, and the way he/whoever wrote them. Because I'm not sure why you quoted a whole paragraph from the original review in your caption, but not what your husband/whoever wrote. Down below, she replies, first of all, that's not a reviewer's, author's, or reader's space. It's a commercial platform where all three interact. Go have a look at your guidelines, because it's for authors to put their books on there, but it is mainly for readers. And readers want to read reviews of books. That's the whole point of Goodreads, is to read a book, review it, and for people to see. Now, this is where it fires off a little thing in my head. Secondly, there's a Chinese saying that he lives by, meaning her husband. Kindness as small as a drop of water should be repaid with a spring. Hatred as small as a scratch should be avenged 1,000 times. My husband saw someone maliciously slandering my work and responded in kind, appropriately. There was nothing appropriate about that. And that whole Chinese saying, it screams of somebody who has nothing better to do than watch anime all day and think they are the main character. You know those guys that are on TikTok that they do these like skits of like anime guys, I think they're called gooners. Anyway, you kind of know what I'm talking about. The people that sort of live like they're an anime hero or an anime villain, and that is their whole personality. The way that she's describing her husband is in this light, if she has one at all. Because this just reads like she's making it up in her head, like it's going to be either from her book, because I don't know, because I haven't read them. And at this point, hardly anybody's going to. And she just, like, insert self character here, insert self here. It's like a Wattpad story. And she thinks that his responses to people on Goodreads, and I'm assuming people on Threads as well, was appropriate. And then you wonder why you're getting all this backlash and that your victimhood is not getting any sympathy. You absolutely did this to yourself by going after a reviewer on Goodreads for their review, which violates the terms and community guidelines of the platform, as it's a reviewer space. It's a reviewer space. Crying about backlash that you caused is absolutely bonkers, since the person in the wrong here is you. There is zero accountability taken in this. You should be ashamed, and if this is how you're going to act as an author, then this isn't the profession for you. You've found yourself on the radar of many bookstagrammers to never read your work due to your own actions. Take the victim mentality elsewhere. Correct. She responds, let's get one thing straight. I didn't go after anyone. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I'm not playing a victim card. Yes, you are. Badly, but you're still trying to play one. You and your friends are the ones playing it by trying to make her a victim. Nobody's making her a victim except you. You are making her a victim of your vile, toxic behaviour. And about those community guidelines you're preaching, I'll admit I haven't memorized them all, but I'm pretty sure defaming someone isn't encouraged either. How are you defamed? Your own stuff that you wrote is leading to people's bad opinion of you. That's not defame. That's not defaming anyone. That's you putting your personality online and nobody picking it up. If you think standing up for myself means I'm crying, you said you were crying. You said you cried, and that's why your husband responded, because of course it wasn't you. The dog ate my homework as well. That says more about you. That says more about your mindset than mine. You've never read my work, yet you act like you get to decide whether I belong in this profession. Newsflash, you don't. You're just another loud voice in an echo chamber mistaking noise for truth. Is she putting this shit through ChatGTP or something? Because nobody talks like this. It's giving touch grass. And then the argument continues. You absolutely went in after a reader in a reader space. Either you or your husband, but screenshots don't lie. It's from your account. Now, on the same post, somebody actually said that they liked this stuff. OMG, no. We absolutely love you and your work. Which people probably do. The only reviews that were up at that time were 5 and 4 stars. We are all humans and react to situations differently. Why is this we all humans? It's all repeated. Your stories live in my mind rent-free from the moment you DM'd me. Please don't let the toxic environment dim your light. You are one of my favourite authors and I will defend you and your stories. You don't deserve any of that. You deserve all the love and success this world can offer you. Protect your peace and your mental health always. I will stand by you forever and ever and will never ever shut up about how amazing your book series is. I will continue to recommend it to anyone and everyone. Love you, girl. Keep your head up. That's positive comment. And that one got chanked as well, because somebody replied to it comment saying, how can you be saying this when the author was the one who created a toxic environment on Goodreads? Literally, none of this would be a thing if authors stay out of reviewer spaces. Preach! And if there were replies in that Goodreads that definitely don't seem like her husband's written post. It doesn't. Because unless he's writing all of her social media today, then it wasn't her husband. Authors don't get to behave inappropriately and unprofessionally and then act like they're being bullied when backlash happens for that. And the author came back. At this point, can somebody just take her phone away from her? Because she comes back with this. How dare you speak like that to my actual reader? It's the internet. There are worse things out there. Is your opinion the only one that matters, especially when you haven't read my book or know me personally? Reviews have nothing to do with people personally. I was genuinely considering quitting, but I will never stand by and watch people bully those who have shown me kindness. This must be where she changed that story Lily thing. And this mentality you carry, where you believe you're intelligent and right, so everyone must give you space to express your views, but when someone else does the same, you tear them down. This is hypocrisy at its peak. Hypocrisy at its peak, indeed. Really? I'm going to read that again. And this mentality you carry, where you believe you're intelligent and right, so everyone must give you space to express your views, but when somebody else does it the same, you tear them down. This is hypocrisy at its peak. Says the author, going after a reviewer that did not tag her, did not call her out, just left a 1-star review. Hypocrisy at its peak, indeed. And they come back again. Tell me where the bullying is. Tell me where any of this is tearing down another reader, because helping people have the facts and informed readership is neither of those things. The only person who tore you down today is apparently your husband. Though, given the actual responses on Goodreads, I kinda doubt. Me too. And the author replies again, just saying, At this point, I was convinced that this whole thing is just rage bait, because she's either feeding it into some AI thing to spout out the most anime fucking responses, all impassioned and main character energy. And now, early on in the threads thing, one threads user posted something on her account, and it is the most. If she had taken this person's advice right at the beginning when it was posted, this whole thing would have blown over. I understand how frustrating it is to get 1-star reviews in your book. As someone who is a Wattpad writer, I don't hear the end of it. However, after a rather unfortunate experience in this regard, I do recommend leaving the readers to their own opinions, no matter how harsh. You can't change/refute a reviewer's mind, nor should you try. As authors, we are encouraged to hold our ground and let go. The moment the book is published, it is no longer ours. Protect your peace. And she should have taken this to heart and protected her peace and left the whole thing alone. Because that comment was on this Threads post. So apparently me highlighting a beautifully constructive Goodreads review, the one calling my book Wattpadish and inventing grammar mistakes, is now a crime. It is. In the bookish community, you don't do it. We've got a whole choir of pure souls uniting to protect the sanctity of book reviews, generously handing out spam 1-star ratings to all my books, because nothing says I care about the community like punishing an author for clapping back. Truly humbled to be in the presence of such greatness. Why did you clap back in the first place? There was nothing to clap back against. If you can't take 1-star reviews, get a fucking life and get a different job. Because being an author is, you're gonna get criticism. People are not going to like your books. And the whole way that you internalize that is unhealthy. And then she gets snarky with another comment on that thread that says, the reviewer did not make personal attacks on you, yet you attacked her English and many other things. Your seething is ugly. And it's ugly behaviour. Now, remember the review and the comment she put up, taking that review and altering the words of it? She does it again. Here. I was really excited reading your comment. The tone, the passion, everything was right up my alley. I truly did want to appreciate it, I did. But the content wasn't done very well. I understand a little bias here and there. We're all human after all. But I'm talking consistent assumptions and oddly worded moral lectures. It honestly felt more like I was reading a personal defense essay than anything resembling objective feedback. I really did want to love this, but unfortunately I didn't. This is just childish at this point. Put the phone down, go out. And hours later, she finally does it, because this was the last post I saw. Logging off for now, my brain cells deserve better company. And I did snort at the comments down here that said, the two of them will be good company for each other. So this is... Jesus. All this, if you don't like a review of something, if you can't take criticism, don't be on the internet. It is 2025. The internet has now been around for long enough, as has social media. Don't put anything out there if you cannot take criticism. I put videos up. Does that mean everybody has to love what I put up? No. Do people tell me that they don't like what I put up? Yes. Do I call them out on all forms of my social media because they dared to say that something I put my heart into was awful? No, I don't. Because that is their opinion. And there are plenty of books that people love I don't like. And I have not exactly been the nicest about them, as you can tell from my 1-star and DNF reviews. But if you can't take criticism, if you feel that it's bad for your health, and the only way that you have of retaining your personal dignity and ego is to clap back and try to go for the throat, then that is not healthy. And in this environment, it is not going to be a good look for you. That comment that either her husband put, or more likely herself, should have been saved for her best friend's group chat. Or just talk about it with your husband and keep off the internet if it's going to make you upset. I get that you would be upset over a 1-star review, over somebody not liking what you've put your heart and soul into and put out there. But I do not condone the bad behavior of this. It's giving tantrum because you're not getting your own way. And going after everybody that calls you out for said bad behavior and saying that you're a victim and that they're bullying you and harassing you just for calling you out on your bad behavior. That's not what bullying and harassment is. That is called accountability. And again, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. This could be a whole series because the amount of stuff like this that goes on Threads and Goodreads and in the bookish space could just give me content for years. When will authors learn not to go and review spaces? Just keep out of it. Once you put something online, it no longer belongs to only you. And until next time, keep reading.